Hi friends, it's Laressa. Welcome back or welcome to the channel. If you're new here, this is a place on the internet where I help fellow real estate brothers and sisters level up their content creation, marketing, and branding game. And in this video, I'm going to share with you my office setup slash studio and how this all goes down when I actually create content, because I get lots of questions on the mic I use, the camera I use, the lights I use, everything I have in the background. So this is the video for you, so stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. So to get started, the first thing that I usually do is turn off my overhead lights here, but I'm gonna keep that on for now. So I film using this Logitech Brio 4K camera, and I use it both for my Zoom calls and my videos because that's convenient for me. So I have this latch that I just open up when I'm ready to film, and then I turn on this light here, and the switch is down here. So I turn that on. Now the only thing about this key light here that I don't particularly like is that I can't control the temperature, so the warmth, the cool to warmth, or even the brightness of it. So I've had to use several of these different, I guess you call it diffusers, in order to help diffuse that light so it's not so harsh, but we were working with what we got here. And then as you can see here, I have a double monitor setup, and then the arms here that also hold my webcam as well. Now, next thing I usually do is I bring in my mic here. Now this is on a Blue Compass mic stand here. Now the only thing about this particular mic stand is that the tension on this is very strong, so you can't really bend this here. You can, but your mic has to be quite heavy for it to do its thing. Now the one thing I do like about this mic stand here is that you can hide the wire inside the neck of the arm, and then if you can see here, I anchor it onto my bookshelf here because I really only swing it in and out when I need it. And then I just use this Velcro tie here just to make sure that it sits flush and that it doesn't come into my face when I'm speaking. And this right here is the Shure MV7 microphone. And if you notice here, this pop filter is normally the pop filter that you would see for those SMB7 mics, the ones that all the podcasters use. So this is my, ballin' on a budget tip. But I do like this pop filter better because it gives an inch of space between where the mic actually is, because it's kind of short, and then it creates less popping sounds, and it makes it look like you have the more high-end aesthetic mic, if you will. So that's my little tip there. Then when that's all done and ready to go, I just turn on my lights here. This is a letterboard something that I got from Amazon, and then I just turn on my color lights back here, which I will show you up close. And then I turn on my broken diffuser that I only use for the lights here. And then what I do is I just, of course, close up my curtains, and then I just move this plant over here for aesthetics, Yes, these plants are real. And then I move this over here. And then I just kind of just do that. And then now I am pretty much ready to go and film. And yes, I'm wearing sweatpants because you're not a YouTuber if you don't wear, a nice blouse and the sweatpants. Because, this is all people see. But you get to see all of this today. You're welcome. Now in this portion of the video, I want to explain to you why I chose the Shure MV7 mic and this Logitech Brio webcam. Now this is not sponsored. I have bought all of my equipment with my own money, but I do want to share with you why I think that this combination of the two is probably one of the best starter kits for my newbie content creators, as it is very user friendly. Now for me personally, I wanted something that was easy to set up, plug and play, but would also give me this studio space, office space per se, where that if I am doing YouTube videos or on Zoom calls with my team or agents that are looking to partner with me here at eXp Realty, because if you know, I wanted to create a sense of cohesiveness and transparency so that if they watch my videos and they book a private call with me, I look exactly the same. Sorry, I had to put the plug in there. And by this, I just literally turn everything on and I'm ready to go. Now, when it comes to this Shure MV7 mic, this is typically, I would say, the middle class, because if you watch a lot of podcasts, you would know that these podcasters use the Shure SMB7. Now, that is an XLR cable mic, meaning with that microphone, you need an additional piece of equipment called a cloud lifter in order to essentially plug it into your computer and for your computer to recognize and read the audio waves and the frequency. Now, this mic, the Shure MV7, is both an XLR cable mic and a micro is just a micro USB to a USB. So literally I just plug this in directly into my computer here, and I plug and play, and I am ready to go. Now, in addition to this mic, if you can notice here, you can't really see it here, but this microphone, the Shure MV7, has a physical touch mute button, so you will never embarrass yourself on a Zoom call accidentally, because in order for this mic to be on, you need to make sure you unmute it. And in addition to that, we also have this feedback or live meter frequency. So if I'm speaking, you'll see that relative to the loudness of my voice, you can see that it's kind of going back and forth on the meter here, and I know that it's on because it's moving and it's green. Now, in addition to these physical touch features, the Shure MV7 mic has a desktop application that will allow you to manipulate some of the settings. Now, in this case, this is called the Shure Plus Motive application, and they give you instructions when you do purchase this microphone, but essentially this allows you to toggle with some of the settings. Now, for me personally, I have this on manual mode where I have my mic gain all the way up to 36 decibels. This monitor mix here I don't really play around with, because on this mic also there's also a microphone jack that you can plug in, and then you can listen to yourself hear the playback. So if you are a podcaster, that might be very useful to you, but I don't do that, so I just do YouTube videos, and I just keep that normal essentially. Now, the EQ, I have it on high pass and presence boost. I have the limiter turned on, compressor all the way to heavy, and again, as mentioned, the LED behavior, that's the live meter, and the night mode on your mic here. Now, night mode is just really the brightness of your LED, so I just keep that on night mode, so it doesn't need to be that bright for me. Now, if you don't know what EQ and compressor is, I did look it up on Google for you, so there's a more technical explanation of that. So EQ allows the engineer to boost or cut certain frequencies to fix a problem or change the color of sound. Compression changes the relationship between your loudest points and quietest points, bringing these differences in level closer together. Now, that's really technical, and you don't really need to worry about all of that. So essentially, when I first got this mic, I just played around with the back-end settings to see what I liked best. Now, with this application as well, there is an auto level version. So if I click over to this panel, you're going to hear it immediately drop down my audio. It's going to be, this is set to near. You can toggle up to far depending on where your mic is sitting, and then you can play around with the tones. I'm in natural. If I go to dark mode, you might hear a little bit more bass, and if I go to bright, it sounds a lot more brighter and higher up here. But again, I don't like this, so I played around with manual. And if we go back here, I gotta put on my custom preset so that I have all of my toggles turned on and the settings that I like. So I basically turned everything all the way up. That might be a little bit extra, but I mean, you do you know what you like best. But I think this setting in particular makes it sound really radio. And I don't believe that this application is also used with the SMB7 mic, but correct me if I'm wrong. But again, this is just a great starter mic, and you also have just things to play around with so you can cater it to the sound that you like. Now, in addition to that, what I do recommend when it comes to this mic here is that you do want to have it mounted. Now, again, I use the Blue Compass arm here, and you can't see it right now, but it is mounted on a separate piece of equipment, and that is my bookshelf. And the reason why I did that is because if you accidentally hit the table, so let's say you have this just mounted on the table, or you have just a stand on the table, if you accidentally hit your desk, or you're like a savage, keyboard warrior, and you just type really aggressively, it might pick up that sound and that feedback. Now, when it comes to YouTube and content creation in general, people are pretty forgiving when it comes to subpar visuals, but when it comes to audio, if the audio is bad or distracting, people will click off. It's very much a non-forgivable. In addition to that, I would recommend that you have this microphone directly underneath your mic. I've seen other people use it where it's like on the side and you're talking to it on the side, or it's up here. I don't think it picks up sound as good as it does when it's directly underneath your mouth, and it picks up the sound very consistently. So, if you're talking and you're moving around, typically it sounds really good. So that's what I recommend, is to have it underneath your mouth directly and then mount it on a separate piece of equipment. Let's talk about this Logitech Brio webcam. Now, this webcam in particular is 4K, which is a plus. But I didn't really buy it for that reason. What I did buy it for was because in addition to purchasing this, you also get a desktop application very similar to this mic here. So let me show you what that looks like here. So this is the Logitech G Hub. Now, depending on what items or equipment you have from Logitech, it also might show up here. So if you have something that's compatible, it might show up here, but in this case I only have the webcam. So this is the Brio here. So let me click on this and open this so you can see. Hopefully it will load because I have a bunch of things going on, multiple cameras, screen recording, many things. Okay, so hopefully you can see me. Now in this case, what I love about this is that you can again manipulate the settings to your liking. Now here you see on the camera mode, we have our zoom, we have focus, which I just keep on auto, exposure, field of view, priority here, which is just either film rate or exposure. Again, I don't really play around with that too much, and then HDR toggled on here. Now before we get into this, I want to show you in the video tab here that you can also manipulate the brightness, contrast, sharpness, white balance, saturation, anti-flicker. Now the one thing that I do want to mention is that if you are wearing white like I am today, it's going to pick up lots of saturation in your background as I do with my light, so it's going to look good. So if you wear something that is kind of dark or a dark blue, it kind of will wash you out. So I don't know if you've noticed that on my past videos, but that's kind of why. But again, that doesn't really matter to me because I do tutorial style videos and I pretty much live in the corner of my videos 80% of the time, so that doesn't really bother me all that much, but it could be something that you want to look into as well. Now again, with the camera here, we can see that we have this zoom and field of view. So these two toggles are pretty much what I play around with the most. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, which you should, you would know that on my reels, in the first 10 seconds of the video, you'll see basically a cropped version of this here. And to do that, I just film again with my Brio camera. And what I do is I change the zoom to 100. Give it a second. Okay, 100. And then I change the field of view to 90 degrees. And basically what I do is I just film and then I just crop this section of the video. So it's that, you know, that's the vertical video and that's all that I do. And then when I want to go back to filming my YouTube videos, I just change this back to 125. I can also type it on here. So 125, hit enter. And then I go back to my field of view like this. So you can change it to 65, closer, 78, 90. Here, and again, you can like zoom this all the way into your face, but I'm not gonna do that today. So in this case, this is what I do. And also what's interesting about this here, if you see, you know, these arrows here, you can also shift it to the right, shift it to the left, and just manipulate it so that you're perfectly aligned to where you want to be. And that's also what I do to make sure that I'm perfectly cropped. So in case that my camera is not cropped appropriately, I can just do it on the application here. So that's pretty much what I use for my setup. Now let's get into how I actually record. All right, so when it comes to filming my content, I use OBS Studios, which is Open Broadcasting System, and it's a free software, and I actually learned this from my brother, so shout out to Ocean. And this is typically what streamers use when they go live, but I love this software because one, it's free, but it allows me to, one, use my camera to film this full talking head, and then I can transition into my screen here, and I can film my tutorial with this screen and then have my bubble head in the corner, which is so convenient and I love it. And then I can just transition back to my full face here, and then when I'm done I can just click stop recording, and then it is saved directly to my computer here. So if I go to my specific folder, I can play this back for you and you'll see that it looks like this. If I go over here, we were filming here. So full head. I can film my, there we go. So that is how I use this system here. And as you can see here, I have a double monitor setup because why? I refuse to live without a double monitor setup. It is for efficiency, productivity, and I highly recommend it. So I am on a Mac Mini. This is a Mac Mini M1. This is the 2020 version. And then I just have two external monitors that are hooked up by two HDMI cords. And then this is the Samsung monitor, and then this is a Asus monitor that my brother gave to me. Shout out to Ocean. And so I use this monitor really just for monitoring what I'm seeing on OBS, and I also put up my, you know, my notes here for Notion. So typically I'd have another window here so I can see the outline of my video when I'm filming. And then again, this screen here is really just to do the actual tutorial. So this whole setup, and when it comes to your video style, is also going to determine your filming style. So for me in particular, I do tutorial style videos. So this is the software that I like to use, and this is the setup I like to use, because previously I was using this camera before to film my talking heads, and then I had to use a different screen recording software just to record my computer. So typically I would have two pieces of footage that I would have to paste onto the other to do the full talking head, the bubble kind of video. But now, because of OBS, I don't have to do any of that, and I film it all in one scene, one clip with OBS, which has been life-changing for me. So if this video gets to 50 likes, 50, I will do a tutorial on OBS Studios and how I use it for my tutorial style of videos, but are also very useful if you plan on doing videos like market updates, different kind of things for real estate that are really helpful. So again, 50 likes and I'll get that video out there. But with that said, I hope you enjoyed my office/studio video setup. Let me know in the comments down below how you plan to set up your office/studio. And until then, check out this video right over here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye friends. Bye. Please tell me you were filming.